My pranams to all Atma Jyotis. Today's topic of contemplation is Advaita or non-duality. We have heard of this word called Advaita or non-duality. What does it mean? Let us understand that. Non-duality means not two. It doesn't say anything about one. It is a negative way of saying there is no two. What is this no two? We have to understand this. We see a vast universe in front of us, an infinite universe. There is so much of variety in this universe. Every living being is different from the other living being. Within the same species of living being, this one life is different from others. My five fingers, in my five fingers, each finger is different. Each finger has different print. The universe has mind-boggling variety. Then what is this not two or non-duality we are speaking of? Even though there is so much of variety in the universe, infinite number of things in the universe, the entire universe can be classified as two. One is called subject and other is called object. The infinite variety comes under the category of subject and object. Infinite number of objects, infinite things in the universe can be finally classified as subject and object. I am the subject and what I experience is the object. The object can be anything: apple, it can be fruit, it can be mango, it can be a mountain, it can be a tree, it can be a river. Everything comes under the object and subject. Subject and object. This is the two which we are speaking of in Vedanta. The subject and object. The subject and object. I am the subject and this what I experience is the object. There is a split between the subject and the object. I am able to see a flower. The flower is the object. I am the subject. There is a split. Subject object split is there. I am able to see a mountain. The mountain is separate from me. Mountain is separate from me. There is a subject object split is there. I am able to see the world. The world is the object and the subject. So there is a subject object split is there. When there is a subject object split, I am a small little being in the universe, very tiny, and the universe is vast. I have a sense of feeling of separation. Not only feeling of separation, I have a fear of my identity, survival. The sense of separation also brings a sense of fear. And the sense of separation also brings a desire for expansion. I want to expand. I want to become better. I want to become more. The fear and desire are two byproducts of sense of separation. Is this clear now? There is infinite variety in the universe. The variety can be finally considered as subject and object. I am the subject and the object. Finally, it's two. Entire universe has only two types of things: subject and object. You are the subject and the world is object for you. I am the subject and the world is object for me. For me, you are also object. But for you, I am the object. But ultimately, entire universe can be considered as two categories: subject and object. There is a perpetual or constant. There's always a split between the subject and object. Subject is I am the subject, and the world is the object. And the split creates a fear. Fear because my survival, for my survival, I have to fight, I have to fight, I have to compete in this entire universe. Okay. And there's a desire. I have to become stronger. I have to grow. So this is the byproduct. The fear and desire is the byproduct of this split. This split between the subject and object is called duality, or it is called Dvaita. This split you can apply to anything. Split between myself and the world. Split between myself and the God. I am separate and God. I am separate from God. I am separate from the world. So finally, we have a subject and object. Now, the subject and object, we can also say, I am the knower and object is known. I am the knower and object is known. Right? Subject object duality finally can be classified as the knower and known. Everything in the world is known by me. I see an apple, I know apple. I see a flower, I know flower. I see the world, I know the world. I am the knower and the world is known. The knower, known, duality is there. And the duality is the cause, fear, and tension. Okay. The Advaita or non-duality teaching says the duality is not real at all. It is only a concept. The subject-object split is not real at all. The knower-known duality is not real at all. It's an illusion. Once this knower-known duality or subject-object split goes, there is only one reality. That one reality is consciousness. Knowing that one reality as my true self, I become free from all illusions, all fear and desire. The entire spiritual journey or purpose of life is to remove this concept of split between the subject and object, between the knower and known. Once this illusion goes, there's no two at all. There's only one reality. That's called consciousness, awareness. And that reality, if you know as your own self, then you are free from the fear and desire in the world. So this realization is called Advaita or non-dual. No two. It doesn't say it is one reality. It is not two. No two. Advaita means no two. It doesn't say one. Okay. It says no two. It doesn't speak of one. Advaita. Dvaita means no duality. Why it should not say one reality, Why it should say, why why are saying no to? Because the one reality what we speak of is not an object at all. It doesn't belong to the category of objects. The consciousness can never be object. The consciousness is not in the domain of time and space. So I cannot say it's one. What is in the domain of time and space, or what is available to my sense organs, I can say 1, 2, 3, 4. But what is not available to in the domain of sense organs and the mind, I cannot say it's 1, 2, or 3, or I cannot say 1. I can, all that say is that there's the only reality which is there, which is not 2. So here, the subject which we are speaking of, which is myself, and the object which is the world, which are 2. Subject is 1 and object is the other. Subject and object, which is 2, we are saying not 2, neither subject nor object, because the subject and object both are appearances in consciousness. Consciousness is neither subject nor object, but both subject and object are appearance in consciousness. That's why it is said not to. The subject, what I call as me, the knower, and the object, what I call as world, both are appearance in consciousness. Appearance in consciousness is called object. So in reality, I am not the subject really. I am also an object in consciousness. Let me give an example to make you understand. Yesterday night, I had a dream. In dream, I became a young boy. I went on a mountain trip. I climbed a biggest mountain. I enjoyed the beautiful scenery. So now, the young boy is the subject, and mountain is the object. So the young boy enjoyed the mountain. And young boy is the subject, mountain is the object. Then the young boy went to a forest. The young boy is the subject and forest is the object. Young boy thinks that I am the subject, I am enjoying the forest. Then the young boy was chased by a tiger and he started running. Young boy is the subject, tiger is the object. There is a subject-object duality. Sometimes you enjoy something, sometimes you are afraid of something. But what is reality? The young boy, the mountain, and the tiger is appearance in my dream. I am the real subject. The boy is not a real subject. It's a pseudo subject. It's a false subject. The young boy is in reality object in my dream. I am the real subject. It is the I who is watching the dream. The boy thinks he is enjoying. He is the subject. So both the boy and the mountain and the tiger all are objects in my dream. I am the real subject. I am the consciousness. I am the witness of the dream. Similarly, in the waking state, I think I am the subject. This body mind is a subject and the world is an object. The body mind is a subject and the world is object. The Vedantic teaching says non-duality. So the world is not divided into subject and object. World is only objects. including mind, body, mind. This body mind complex is an object, like a dream boy is an object of consciousness, of object of the person who is dreaming, sleeper. Similarly, this body and the world is nothing but an object in the consciousness. The real subject is the consciousness. Real subject which knows everything is the consciousness, not this body and mind. Okay. Now the consciousness is not an object. That's why it is non-dual. It is not subject and object. It is beyond subject and object. It is the awareness. That's why it's called non-dual, Advaita. It cannot be expressed in positive words. It cannot say one, because consciousness you cannot say one. The one you can point out only in the experience, in the objective domain. What is real subject you cannot say it's one. Is this clear? So the Vedanta teaching is the subject and object both are nothing but objects in consciousness or pure awareness. What is the nature of pure awareness? The knowing is the nature of pure awareness. The awareness is knowing. The real knowing happens in the awareness. Oh, I think I know. I am the knower. That's a false identity. You are never the knower. You are just an object. This body and mind is the instrument of the knowing principle, the consciousness. It is like I am wearing these glasses and seeing the room. So if the glasses had the ability to speak, glasses will say, I am seeing the room. The glasses cannot see the room. The person who is wearing these glasses can see the room. I am the consciousness who is seeing through the glasses. Similarly, when I say I know, the body and mind is not the knowing principle. The knowing principle is consciousness, which is beyond body and mind. That's why it's called Advaita. So then there's a reason for saying Advaita or non-dual, because the split between the subject and object is not real at all. Subject and object, me and the world, both are appearances in consciousness, and what appears in consciousness is also made up of consciousness only. So the consciousness is the only reality. There's no two. That consciousness, the reality, appears as object. Appearance is not real, but reality is consciousness. How is that so? The water appears as a big wave and small wave. Water appears as a big wave and small wave. The big wave and small wave, big wave represents the world, the small wave represents the me, the subject. Big wave represents the object, small wave represents the subject. But both are waves only. The waves are appearing, waves are nothing but appearance of water. The waves rise and fall, but nothing happens to the water. Similarly, the consciousness appears as a body and mind and the world. It's only appearance, but appearances can change. Nothing happens to consciousness. So reality is only one. That is called Sat, Chit, Ananda. Existence, consciousness, and bliss. And that reality is called Advaita, because it's non-dual. There is no other for that. There is no second for that. There's only one reality. So you cannot say that the consciousness is there and the world is there. Then also duality is there. The consciousness and world, there's also duality. Only consciousness is there appearing as world. There's no duality. We cannot say water is there, wave is there. Water only is appearing as wave. There's no. If you say water and wave are appearing as duality, then there is a water is there and wave is there. Then there's a duality. Water only is appearing as wave. The small wave thinks I am the subject and thinks that bigger wave, which is the world, is an object. Actually, it's false. The wave, bigger wave or small wave, are both made up of the water. The water is the subject, real subject. The small wave and big wave are both objects. Similarly, the consciousness is the only subject, real subject. The body, mind, and intellect and the world is an object. The object is also made up of consciousness, even though it's temporary. So that's why I am body is false. I am represents the consciousness. I represent the consciousness, am represents the existence. The existence and consciousness confusing with the body is wrong. I exist, I am conscious. See, everybody is aware of that. If I ask you, do you exist? You say, yes, I exist. If I ask you, are you conscious? You say, I am conscious. That existence is represented as am when you speak of. The I in your I am points to consciousness. When you say I am, you are saying I is consciousness, am is existence. So you are pointing to consciousness and existence when you speak of I am. Then if I ask you, why do you say you exist? You say I exist because of my body. This is the confusion. You don't exist because of your body. The body exists because of you, the consciousness. This is the fundamental mistake. The body is also an object in consciousness. In your deep sleep, there was no body. There's no world. But you existed. I existed. And what was my nature of existence? I was peaceful. So in deep sleep, I didn't have a body. I existed. I was conscious. How do you say I was conscious? Because I experienced the peace in deep sleep. And if you ask me, what did you see? What was there in deep sleep? You say, there was nothing. I was aware of absence of everything. That means I knew that there is nothing. So I was aware, I was conscious, and I was peaceful, blissful. So existence, consciousness, and peace, or existence, consciousness, bliss, was my nature in deep sleep. In waking state, also I exist, I am, but I confuse with the body and mind, which is object. So this confusion has to be removed. So existence is called Sat, consciousness is called Chit, and bliss is called Ananda. In deep sleep, I experience myself as existence, Sat. I was aware that there is nothing, Chit. I was aware that I am blissful, there's Ananda. Sat Chit Ananda was my nature in deep sleep. In the waking state, only I forget my Ananda or bliss or peace. Because my experience gets split between the subject and object. I am the subject and the object is the world. So I start searching for peace and happiness in the world, forgetting my true nature. So this has to be clarified. So this can be when I realize my true nature as Sat Chit Ananda, I am blissful. And Sat Chit Ananda is the only reality. There's no other reality. Everything is an appearance. So that Sat Chit Ananda is called Atma, the self. Okay? In Vedanta, it's called Atma. Sat Chit Ananda is called Atma. The I am, when I use the word I am, is always pointing to Sat Chit Ananda or Atma, my nature. But I confuse and use it, confusingly I use it for the body and mind. So this correction has to come. So to recognize my true nature as Atma, which is Sat Chit Ananda. Sat Chit Ananda is Advaita, non-dual. There's no other with respect to Sat Chit Ananda. Atma alone is the reality. The world is also appearance of Atma only. The body and mind also is the appearance of Atma only. Appearance can change, but Atma doesn't change. Sat Chit Ananda doesn't change. The wave can change, but water cannot change. Water is same. The big wave or small wave, the water doesn't undergo any change. Like that, real mind, real nature as awareness doesn't change. The awareness is called Advaita or non-dual. Awareness is not an object. Is that clear? So that Sat Chit Ananda and objects of the world, let us understand the relationship. I said body and mind and intellect is also an object, and the world is also object. So, is there a subject-object duality really? Is the subject-object duality real? The subject-object duality is just an illusion. What is world according to you? What is America according to you? What is a tree according to you? Everything is an experience. If there's no experience of tree, there's no tree. If there's no experience of America, there's no America. If there's no experience of the world, there's no world. Correct? So everything is an experience appearing in consciousness. The subject and object are both connected by experience. There is no subject and object, there's only experience. Experience keeps changing. I experience a tree, I experience a flower, I experience a sky, I experience America. So experience keeps changing. Okay. But my knowing of the experience doesn't change. I am the knowing principle behind all experiences. The knowing principle is constant. The knowing principle is awareness, which is myself, real I. So there is no subject and object. There's only experience of subject and object. Experience which connects them. If you were to say that there is a tree, there's an experience of tree required. The subject and object is connected through experience. Experience may change, keep changing, but reality of knowingness doesn't change. That knowingness is myself. So I am that awareness which is there in all the experiences. Are we clear? So now, what is the experience made up of? Can there be experience without knowing? Can you say that this is experience without knowing? The knowing is required to have an experience. So the experience is also made up of knowing only, awareness only. So the subject and object are connected through experience. Subject and object is not there, only experience is there. Experience is known by me, the real I, awareness. The knowing is the reality. So experience also is knowing only. Experience also appearance of knowing. So what is there all the time is knowing only, which is Atma. Knowing doesn't change. We give different names and forms to that, but really the knowing alone is the reality. That means everything in the universe, the essential nature of everything in the universe is awareness, which is myself, Atma. The world, The essential nature of the world is Atma. The world is Atma Swarupa. Jagat is Atma Swarupa. The flower is Atma Swarupa. The tree is Atma Swarupa. I alone appear as all the objects in the world. When I say I, it's not a personal I. It's not a subject. It is a pure awareness. Alone appears as subject and object and experience in the world. The split between the subject and object is a pure illusion created by thoughts. How thoughts create the split? We'll see. But when I'm experiencing something, there's only experience. There's no thought that I'm experiencing something. For example, I'm enjoying music. Okay, that's only music. That's the experience of music only. Is there experience of music? The knowing only is there. So really, the experience is made up of awareness only. Is this clear? So the awareness only is appearing as every object in the universe. There's no object, there's no subject and object, but it's only appearance of the awareness as experience. Then where is this subject-object duality coming into picture? That we'll understand. Okay. Before we go into that, let us go one step further. So I said everything in the universe is experience. Okay. Let us take our experience of the world is through 5 sense organs, right? Eyes, ears, tongue, touch, smell. Now just close your eyes and listen to the sound, because sound is an object for you. Can you separate out the sound from your ears? If there's no ear, there's no sound. The sound and ear, they are together one reality. The subject and object both is one reality and experience. In the case of experience, the sound is the ear is the subject and the sound is the object. Some vehicle or something making sound. They are connected through hearing. The hearer heard and hearing. Hearing is the connection. If the hearing is not a connection, there's no sound or hearing. The hearing is the connection. And hearing, I know hearing. So there's only knowing is there. Knowing is awareness. And I am that awareness, Atma, non-dual, Sat Chit Anand Swarupa. So same thing applies to tongue, touch, and sight. You cannot separate out the sense organs from the object. They are one. They are. For example, I see a flower. The flower and my eyes are connected through seeing. If there's no seeing, there's no flower. The seeing is there, and I know there is seeing. So the knowing is there. Without knowing, there's no seeing. So the reality of seeing is knowing, and reality of subject and object is seeing. So all experiences, all subject and object translate into experiences which are changing, and the changing experience is always known by a knowing principle which doesn't change. So in all the perceptions, hearing, touching, smelling, tasting, okay, I alone manifest, the consciousness alone manifests as the knowing principle. So that alone is there. The consciousness alone is the reality appearing as the objects and subjects. In reality, there are no objects and subjects, there's only experiences. In reality, there are no experiences, it's only knowing is there. Then where is this subject-object duality comes into picture? Subject object duality comes into picture. When the knowing is happening, when the experience is happening, only experience is there. There's no subject object duality. Then the naming starts. The experiencing is always a nameless experience. In the nameless experience, the subject object duality is not there at all. In any experience, that's not there. But the moment the naming starts, the subject object duality gets split into subject and object. I am experiencing music. When I am experiencing music, the music experience only is there. The knowing of music experience only is there. Awareness alone is there. And I am blissful. The passage of time stops because there is no subject object duality. I alone exist as the music. I means awareness alone exists as music. Then there's no time. I have gone to timeless state. I am gone beyond time. This Atma. So that happens to you anytime when you are enjoying with your child. So you forget yourself. There's oneness. In that oneness, Atma alone shines. When you're enjoying music, the music alone is there. Experience of music alone is there. There's no I and the music. And in that, I am in the timeless domain. So that happens in all of our small joys also. Every small joy, I go back to my own nature as Atma, which is beyond time. My nature of Atma is bliss. Always is there. And I experience Atma today in small things. But I confuse it with the object. The object is coming because of the naming which is done by the mind. Now the mind comes to the picture. Mind gives a name. Okay. The name is not reality. Name is for only for purpose of transaction. For example, I see a ocean. Then you say, look, there's a wave. What is that wave? Some appearance is there. The mind gives it a name called wave for dealing transaction. But tell me, where is the wave starting? Can you draw a line and say this is where wave starts, where the ocean ends? There's no boundary. The mind creates a boundary for remembering and transaction. So the experience is broken by the mind into a flower and me. When I see a flower, this is a flower and this is me. And mind gives a name. When there is no boundary, the boundary is created by mind to deal with the situation. Are you clear? There is no boundary in nature at all. Tell me, where is the boundary between India and Pakistan, India and Bangladesh, India and Nepal? So it's only in the map. Human beings create a line, draw a line and say this is India, this is Nepal. Similarly, the mind gives a name, creates a boundary where there is no boundary. All our experiences are boundaryless. And boundaryless experience is infinite. Every time in any experience, I experience my nature as infinity, Ananta. All experiences are boundless experiences. All experiences are nameless experiences. But the moment mind comes into picture, the nameless experience is broken into small pieces called names. This is flower, this is me. This is music, this is me. The names are not reality, but transaction purpose. Now, what is a name? The name is also a thought. The flower is a thought. And thought is an appearance in consciousness. Thought is also a wave in consciousness. Even thought is also a wave in consciousness. I appear thought like as thought also. The subject, object, experience are nothing but the self appearing as subject, object, and thought. The subject, object, thought is called knower, known, and knowing. This is called Triputi. The knowing is not part of the mind. Knowing is the self, Atma. The knower and known are thoughts, and thoughts are also appearing in consciousness like waves. So all that is there is consciousness only. So understanding this, the consciousness alone is the reality. Awareness alone is the reality. I am awareness. Awareness is non-dual, and that non-dual Atma is my. I am that non-dual awareness Atma. This is the understanding, and once I realize that, I am blissful, because everything in the universe is my pointing to my own self. All the perceptions, all the feelings, all the thoughts, all the experience, hearing, touching, smelling, tasting, all are pointing to consciousness only. The split is created by the mind by giving a name to this, but the names are also nothing but consciousness only. So in reality, sarvam khaluida brahma, all this is consciousness. I am that consciousness. I am aham brahmasmi. Brahman means consciousness, awareness. I am that Brahman. This understanding is required. So how do you arrive at this understanding? The teaching of Vedanta is you arrive at this understanding by the process of neti. Not this, not this, not this. Negativity. It's a negative way of approaching. How do you approach that neti? The neti we approach is the mind, the human mind divides the experience into subject and object. I am the subject and there's an object. Okay. So I am the knower and the object is known. Knower known duality is created by the mind. So you have to get rid of this knower known duality. So Vedanta says, not this, not this. Whatever you know is not awareness. Awareness cannot be known because awareness is the real knowing principle. So Vedanta says, no, not this, not this, reject. Whatever you know, you are not that. Whatever you know, you are not that. Because the self or Atma, the consciousness cannot be an object. So no, nedi. I am, as is the Atma the flower? I am is the flower is known? Is Atma the flower? No. But so is I am the body? No. Body is I am. Is the gold necklace? No. Necklace is gold. So that's why you keep rejecting whatever you know. Everything what you know as rejected, because they are all product of the mind. What is known is a name. It's only given for purpose of dealing. Whatever is known is not you. Then what I am cannot be known at all. That's why Vedanta takes us through process of neti. Not this, not this, not this. It is like almost like digging for water. You keep digging water, digging a well. You keep removing mud. Then finally you find the water. So similarly, you reject whatever is known as neti. Known is nothing but a name given by the mind. That's all. Then what remains, which is not knowable, is myself, because I am the awareness which can know everything, but awareness itself cannot be known. I am that awareness. I am that Advaita, the non-dual self. Advaita Atma is my nature. Sat Chit Ananda is my nature. This is the process. So let us look at the other way. One more way of looking at it. All right. In any way, any except any perception, there is a subject and the object. Okay. So let us say I see a flower. There's a perception of the flower. So before the perception of the flower, what was there? I don't know. When I see the flower, what is there? I know there is flower. When the perception is over, what is there? I don't know. So that means the background of perception is I don't know. Unknown is the background of perception. Correct? Any perception, there is a background of the perception is unknown. I see a tree. Before seeing the tree, what was there? I don't know. After seeing the tree, what is there? I don't know. When seeing the tree, there is a tree. I know there is a tree. Correct? So the background of any perception is not known. I don't know. So that means unknown is the background of any perception. Correct? Any object, everything in the object, every object in the world, the background is unknown. On the perception process, sees the background, sees the flower or object. Now, am I seeing what is there in the, that is there? When I see the flower, what I see is a name and form is seen there. A name and form is superimposed on the unknown. Have I seen what is there? No. I have superimposed name and form. My sense organs are superimposing a flower there. My mind is giving a name called flower there. So entire perception process is, the background of perception process is unknown. In the perception process, I superimpose name and form on that. In reality, there is only superimposition is happening. Unknown and known. Known also is not really known. It's a superimposition. Then what is really there? What is really there? I don't know. I cannot know. Because my sense organs are limited. My mind is limited. I cannot know. What is there? I can say there is existence. Existence is there. There is easiness in the flower. There is easiness in the tree. There is easiness in the mountain. The existence is appearing as flower. Existence is appearing as tree. The existence is called Sat. The Sat aspect is the background of all objects. And that Sat aspect is background of me also. I exist. I am conscious. Before I can say the flower exists, I have to become aware of my existence. Otherwise, I can't say the flower exists. So my existence, Sat, comes first. Then I am aware of the existence of the flower. So the Sat in me, Sat in the flower, the existence aspect of Sat, existence aspect is one. And this is the background. This is what reality is. Sat, Chit, Ananda is the reality in which the body and mind of me and the world appears and disappears. And what appears and disappears also is an appearance of consciousness in that form, like a wave appears in ocean. So you remove the objectivity from the object, then what remains is existence. Remove the subjectivity from me, then what remains is existence consciousness. So the existence and consciousness, Sat Chit in me and existence in the object, they're all one reality. That's called Sat Chit Ananda. There's no subject and object duality. The reality is beyond subject and object. The reality is Sat Chit Ananda, existent consciousness, which is my nature, Atma, the self. Sat Chit Ananda is the existence consciousness, is the nature of all, the totality of existence. I alone, I means the I principle alone, Atma alone appears as the world. There's no duality at all. When there is no duality, there's no fear. When there's no fear, there's no desire. I am eternally blissful. So the names and forms keep changing, but the self, Atma, doesn't change. Self is birthless and deathless. There's a birth for a wave, death for a wave when the wave disappears. But there's no birth and death for water. There's no birth and death for consciousness, awareness. Various names and forms appear and dissolve. This self is eternally free. And I am that Sat Chit Ananda. The Sat Chit Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss, that Atma I am. And that is called Advaita or non-dual. Any questions? There are some questions. I'll take the questions. Okay. So, Okay, the question is asked is, knowing of the music is experience, but isn't the music object of knowing here? See, the knower, we can always split between the knower. The question here, question asked is, knowing the music is an experience, okay, but isn't the music the object of knowing here? The moment you say object, there is a separation between the object and the subject. We will never be able to separate the knowing from the music. Okay, the music, when we cannot separate out, we cannot call it as object. To call something as object, we should be able to separate out. You can never be able to separate out knowing from anything, including knowing from the perception, knowing from hearing, knowing from touching, knowing from smelling. Knowing is the basic background which cannot be separated from anything. And that's why there's no subject-object relationship in the knowing or awareness. So the question is, another question is asked is, I don't understand how the experience can be there without an object. The second question is, how I don't understand how the experience can be there without an object. The object is not a reality. I can only give you an analogy. You can understand that. Okay. For example, in your dream, okay, you saw a dream tiger and you started running. You are the subject and tiger is the object, but you are not real subject. You are also unreal. The tiger is also unreal. What is you and tiger? Both are objects projected by the consciousness of the sleeper, right? So is object real? Object is not real. Object is only appearance of consciousness. So similarly, everything in the world is just a projection of the consciousness. Okay, it is called an object by the mind by giving a name. So that's why, for example, when you see a mountain, is there a mountain? The mountain is an appearance in consciousness. It's a projection, and projection is an experience. There's no object really. In your dream, there was a mountain. Was there really mountain? The dream or the object dream was a projection of the mind, and mind was an appearance in consciousness. There's no mountain. There's only experience of the mountain, because the projection experience happens both in consciousness. So mind can know. Then how did the saints describe Brahman as Sat Chit Ananda? So the question is, so the main when okay, let me ask one by one question. Okay, mind cannot know unknown. Then how did saints describe Brahman as Sat Chit Ananda? How did saints describe Brahman as Sat Chit Ananda? See, the Brahman is not Sat Chit Ananda. Okay, Brahman is not Satchidananda, because Brahman cannot be described. Okay, Brahman can only be pointed out by a closest description. For example, when I say, look at a saint and a person and a dog, both are walking, and a disciple is coming with him. A disciple is going with the master. So disciple asks master, okay, how did the saints call Brahman as Satchidananda? The master, he asked the master. The master doesn't answer the question. He points his finger to the moon and tells the dog, oh dog, look at the moon. The dog doesn't look at the moon, because dog doesn't know what is moon. Dog is only looking at the finger. Sat Chit Ananda is also a word. It's a pointer. Okay. Don't get stuck with the pointer. Look at the pointed. The consciousness cannot be pointed. Consciousness is your own nature. But a word for our communication, we need to use the words. And Sat Chit Ananda is a word. It's a pointer to consciousness. Sat Chit Ananda is not consciousness. Sat Chit Ananda is a pointer to consciousness. Okay, which is reality. What is beyond our mind's experience, we can only point out through words. Sat Chit Ananda is also a word to describe something which is beyond the mind. The knowing is beyond the mind. Mind cannot know. The knowing mind has no ability to know. Mind is an object. The knowing ability of the mind comes from the object. Okay. If the wave can never know the water, how can we say the water exists? The wave can never know the water. The water exists. See, you are asking a question. If the wave cannot know the water exists, okay, how can water know? How can you know water exists? For that, answer is very simple. I will ask you straight away the question: do you exist? If you say I don't exist, then this I don't have to answer to you. If you say I exist, give me a proof that you exist. Okay. You say because my body exists. So that when you say my body, so you are aware of the body, and awareness exists prior to the body. The awareness is self-luminous. Awareness doesn't require a proof. The Vedanta doesn't give you proof of your existence. Vedanta only points out to you, you are confusing your existence with the body and mind. The Vedanta is only removing the confusion, ignorance of mixing of the body and mind with your real existence. So I can't give you proof that you exist, and you don't have to give a proof that you exist, because you know you are existing. That is self-luminous. So the self-luminous existence is confused with the body and mind. That confusion is being removed through teaching. What causes or creates experience? Okay, so this, what causes or creates experience, this will explore in the future talks. You have to wait for my future talks, and also you have to go back through my lot of other talks. 20 talks given earlier. You have to go through 20 talks to get the set the background. So we'll close for the day.